everyone, back here from a pad here. Guys, today is another exciting day. As you guys know, I have been planting up a storm for the past several months. As a matter of fact, just about every single inch of my veggie garden is packed full of herbs and peppers and tomatoes and cucumbers, and not to mention a ton of greens and herbs. So guys, in today's video, I'm gonna be planting out, I'm gonna be creating a brand new bed. Just last week, I planted several seeds. I started several seeds just 1 week ago, and several of those seeds are already ready to be in the garden. As a matter of fact, a couple of the cucumbers have already been planted out in my veggie bed. So guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to start a brand new bed. You don't need to go out and buy any special wood or metal beds or anything. I'm going to show you how to build a bed on the existing soil. And also, I'm going to give you an update on how the area where I'd put down cardboard a few months ago when I was cleaning up for the holidays, it is now perfect and ready for our next bed. I'm also going to show you exactly how I mix my soil, because a lot of you guys say, how do your vegetables get this big? How is everything this healthy? Guys, it's not a secret. I've showed you on several videos, but now we're going to make this bed together. We're going to build this bed together, and I'm going to show you exactly how I mix my soil, so you also can have these results. Nothing fancy. Anyway guys, let's get started. Let's go build us a bed. Guys, first things first, this is the area that was completely weed filled just a few months ago when I did that video showing how to clean up for the holidays. And you can see the area along there where I didn't, cardboard and mulch. You can see it's full of weeds. Everywhere that didn't have cardboard and mulch is full of weeds. But all up here is the area that had that we cardboard and then we mulched over. And I'm gonna show you a real quick clip so you can see just how bad it was. I'm gonna show you a real switch to that video really quick for a few seconds just so you can see how bad it was. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna plant out some of these seedlings. You can see I showed you after 3 days how the cucumbers were already up, and now you can see the lima beans are getting big. Cucumbers are really big and overgrown for the size containers. And then you can see multiple tomatoes have come up. Sugar snap is about to come up. And guys, look at the Jamaican pumpkin. Look how big those seedlings are, and the Seminole pumpkin. So we've got a lot to put out. Let's get started on what we're gonna do. So first, you can see that there's a lot of mulch here, and this mulch is because what I'd done is I had cardboarded this whole area and I mulched. Let me show you. Most of the mulch and the cardboard has already started breaking down. If you dig in, you won't even see any cardboard. Let's look. Yeah, see? Well, this is it. That's all that there is of the cardboard. Look, you can hardly see it, but there's just a little piece of cardboard. But the cardboard is basically decomposed already. So I'm gonna scrape this mulch aside, and we're gonna put down the good soil, and then we're gonna plant directly in the soil. All right, so what I started doing was I'm raking away the mulch, and I forgot to show you guys, this is actually the vine that I cut off. What I did was I cut the vine back about 2 weeks ago so that it would start drying up and so that the leaves would fall off, because of course the leaves also will break down, and that's why you see so many leaves there. The leaves also break down and feed the soil. Also, what I didn't mention is, you remember when I put the wood and the mulch over the 2 feet of weeds, those weeds also broke down completely and fed the soil. When I rake away, you don't see any cardboard, you don't see any of the existing weeds. It's all just beautiful soil. So I could probably plant directly in it and it'll be fine, but because my soil is really so sandy, it does need just one layer of mulch, and weed is not enough to give the plant the soil nutrition. So I'm gonna lay down some Kellogg's now and show you how I and add my fertilizer. So let me just set the camera up here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plant the cucumbers and the veggies directly under the arch, so it'll grow up and be on the arch. Plus I still wanna have a good walkway between my trees and my veggies so I can easily harvest. Also, this this trellis was about 1.5 feet, 2 feet more away from the fence. In order to maximize my growing space, I moved it back to just about 1.5 feet off the fence. I can still get back there if I need to, but then I'm gonna be planting everything on this side where I can harvest. All these leaves, everything is gonna break down. The leaves, the mulch, everything is just enriching the soil. I'm pulling the mulch aside, but I'm gonna use the same mulch to cover it back. And here is a big root that hasn't decomposed. So let me show you real quick. Guys, all of this, you can see it's a decomposition process. So as a new gardener, when you see this, you might think, oh my God, something's wrong with the soil. Why is it white? Why does it look like fungus? This is actually the decomposition process. So this is good. It's breaking down the wood, breaking down all the roots, breaking down the cardboard, and ultimately feeding the soil. So I'm gonna pull everything aside. Then we're gonna lay. I'm not gonna do that side yet. I'm just gonna do, let's call this maybe 8 feet. Gonna do like an 8-foot bed, and then if I need more, I can continue. But I'm just gonna do the small area just to show you. Also, I definitely want to have enough space to walk between the plants. So it's gonna be a very narrow bed. It's gonna be just maybe a foot and a half wide. So now I'm gonna put the soil down. Okay, so I just dumped, I had to get some help. Just dumped 1.5 bags, only 1.5 bags of the Kellogg's raised bed mix. So I just spread it out evenly along here. And then now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Dr. Earth tomato, vegetable and herb fertilizer. I'm gonna use a couple of handfuls of that. And then I'm gonna follow it up with some worm castings. So I'm not really, this is organic tomato and vegetable herb. And it doesn't matter which one, it just happens that I have this. I'm just gonna go in and give it a generous handful along here. So this is about an 8-foot section, 8 feet by 1 foot. And I'm just spreading the fertilizer all the way down. Then I'm gonna put some earthworm castings down. And for this, I have Wiggle Worm Soil Builder pure worm castings. I also have my own worms. I actually have red wriggler worms, so I have my own castings, but I haven't harvested them yet, and I did have half of this bag left. I think earthworm castings are a game changer. It really helps the soil. It helps retain moisture. It helps the whole soil structure, and it's a very light fertilizer. But ever since I started using earthworm castings, I really have seen a huge difference in all my fruits and veggies. So I'm very generous with the earthworm castings because this can only do good. It will not burn the plants in any way. So I gave about 4 or 5 handfuls of the earthworm castings and about probably 3 handfuls of the Dr. Earth herb and tomato fertilizer. So now I'm gonna mix it in very well. I'm gonna mix it in all very well. Then I'm gonna replace the mulch. I'm gonna replace the mulch before I actually plant in. So I'm just mixing this in. You can easily do this with a rake. As a matter of fact, let me get my standing rake. So I'm making sure I break up all the clumps that was in the soil bag. Because remember, all I did was just dump the bag of Kellogg's. Didn't do anything fancy. I just dumped it in. So there may be clumps in there. So you want to go through and not just work the top layer, but you want to break up those clumps. And of course, as time goes on and you water your fruits and your veggies and your fruits, all the clumps will break up. So here we go. Everything is nicely mixed in. I'm just gonna pass the rake across because I want to kind of even it up. And then I'm gonna have to figure out something about keeping the animals out. All right, so here we go. Oh shoot. I always like to water in my soil before I actually plant anything. That just helps to not disturb look at that. That just helps. Oh geez. Yeah guys, I'm gonna need to do something to keep the animals off. I soaked the soil really well to make sure. You always want to make sure that it's not just wet on the surface. You want to dig down at least an inch and make sure it's wet all the way through, down an inch. If it's not wet, then you give them a soaking. So I've already done that, and it's well soaked. Well soaked, if you can see, it's well soaked. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plant the cucumbers in this 8-foot section. So I'm gonna plant them, let me see. I'm gonna plant them maybe a foot apart. So these are the Japanese cucumbers. I can't even pronounce that name. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put the name on the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and plant these out. And I've already planted 2 of them in the veggie bed right beside my beans because they were anxious to get out. So it's very simple. Make a little hole. Soil is nice and moist. Look at that, guys. Nice and moist all the way down. And because they're so long and spindly, I'm gonna plant them extra deep. See, I'm planting it extra deep. These seedlings can handle it. Planting it extra deep and packing the soil in. That would allow it to have better roots. Get the next one. I think I want to get some of these lima beans in also. Next one, gonna go like a foot across, dig all the way in and drop it in and pack the soil in. There you go. So I'm gonna continue down the road and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so let me show you what I did. So I went all the way through and planted them close enough that by the time they get to like a 1.5 to 2 feet, they'll be able to grab on, and I'll be able to train them up on the trellis. So here are 6 of my cucumbers, and if you notice, they were like 5-6 inches long, and you see only like 1 inch is above ground. So I buried them deep so they can have a good root system. You don't want to bury them, just at the little bottom, because then they won't be able to develop proper roots. Here I have a couple lima beans. This one looks like it's a bit kind of struggling a bit, so I put it close to the other one. I can always thin out to one. And then here are the 2 Korean Korean melons that germinated. My Jamaican pumpkin, they are looking quite beautiful, so I'm gonna actually separate these, put these in a bigger pot till I decide exactly where I'm gonna put them. The Jamaican pumpkin as well as this is the Seminole pumpkin, they both are gonna run on the ground. So I'm gonna put them probably in the corners of the garden, but of course one of the corners is in the chicken run area, and those girls, they eat everything. I'd actually sowed some pumpkin seeds and they ate them all, so I'm I'm gonna have to make sure put some kind of hoop, that little hoop over them to protect them. Oh my goodness, guys, look at the root system on this Jamaican pumpkin, guys. This is 8 days of root system. I was just about to transplant, I'm in the process of transplanting it into this pot. And look at the other one. Hold on, let me show you the other ones. This is incredible. Look at the root system. Look at the root system, guys. This is pretty incredible. Wow. If you guys missed a video of how I started my seeds and exactly what the process is, I'll drop a link to it. But be sure to go back and drop the watch that video. I posted it just 8 days ago. But the way I did it, it resulted in these kind of roots in just 8 days. These are gonna thrive and do very well. I just went ahead and finished making the bed, creating the bed all the way across, and I've already fertilized it all the way across. I just, in all, it's about, I would say minimum probably 20 feet or just over 20 feet, maybe 24 feet. And I use only 3 bags because I know that the soil is pretty decent now that the wood chips broke down and all the weeds and all the plant material that was under the cardboard broke down. Storm is obsessed with eating the fertilizer. Anyway, so in addition to the Kellogg's garden mix and the way I fertilize it, it's going to be enough for whatever vegetables I plant here. As my seeds come in, then I'll plant more out here. But for now, this is what we have. All right, guys. Be sure to protect your seedlings from your animals, like your dogs and cats and chickens, so they don't walk right over them as soon as you do it. I'm gonna do that, and you guys will see it in future videos. I'm gonna create some little hoops over here. For now, I'm just gonna throw some mesh on it, so at least any rabbits or squirrels coming in won't just come and automatically eat it, since they have eaten every single one of my corns because my corn was unprotected. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. Till next time, bye now.